that shows how much of a nerd I am and a sucker for Universal Monsters. When I saw a Pink Wolfman, I'm like, I gotta get me a Pink Wolfman. Hello, welcome to Popula, where we explore the lesser traveled avenues of pop culture. Today, we are going to be looking back at the classic Universal Monsters and specifically the Super 7 products related to those characters. Joining us today is my good friend Anthony, who is a very talented artist, comic book style artist, and an aficionado of all things pop culture, and also very knowledgeable about the subject we are going to be discussing today, which is Universal Monsters. So we're gonna break this episode into two segments. We'll take a look, Anthony, at the unboxed figures, which are on display here. Okay. And then we're gonna look at some that are still boxed and decide if we want to unbox them. So let's start by taking a look at these characters. I will say right off the bat that what I tried to do here was I gave us a selection of different characters, and I left some of the variants at home because I have more unboxed figures than this that are translucent or glowing or just funky colors or whatever. Right. I tried to leave the variants at home so that we could just talk about, you know, the actual characters and not the many different iterations of them. But let's talk about this this lot of figures, and we'll also reminisce along the way about how much we love Universal Monsters and how we got into it. This is the first thing I'll say is that these figures came out several years ago. They started releasing them in waves, and from the get-go, they had me with this. Like, I wanted to collect these. I knew it right away. They were clearly an homage to the Remco
AHI.
Yeah, and the in this scale they reminded me of the Remco mini monsters. Remember those from
the 80s? Was
the early 80s?
The early 80s, right?
In the early 80s, they made figures. Remco did in this scale, and these look very much like them. But back then, they only gave us 6 characters.
Right.
We got what I consider Universal's big 3. We got Frankenstein, Dracula, Wolfman. But they also gave us Creature, Mummy, and Phantom. So back then, 40 years ago, very different time. We got 6 characters.
Did you mention the Wolfman? Did we?
Yeah, the Wolfman was in there, and we back then we felt lucky to get 6.
Right.
It's not like today's collectors culture that we live in, where you're going to get a figure pretty much of any, character from a movie or.
I mean, it'll
TV
be customized to your imagination. Anything that you want that you hoped would have come out back then.
So we have so many more characters now to choose from, and we're going to walk through them. We're going to take a look at all these characters. Sure. Just a quick overview, because you and I could be here talking about the movies all day. But if you want to start us off, I will ask you to tell us, what your favorite Universal monster is. I think I know the answer to that. And then after that, I'm going to have you walk us through part of the collection.
Sure. First of all, thank you for inviting me to your premiere episode. I'm honored, as a monster fan. I mean, it's just a great opportunity to, like you said, to talk about these things that we love so much. And to answer your question, yes, my favorite Universal monster has always been the Creature from the Black Lagoon. The design, before I even knew anything about the creature, before I saw the movies, I remember seeing pictures of him in Famous Monsters of Filmland, and I'm like, wow, this is cool. I was a little guy. And I was going through my dad's collection of Famous Monsters of Filmland, and there was several issues that featured the creature, Revenge of the Creature. And I mean, I hadn't seen the movies yet, but I was just blown away. And I did see one of the famous Basil Gogos covers, and his depiction of the creature was just, I mean, I was sold. I mean, it just, it still stands up today, and I don't think there's anything better. But
it's hard to argue with that choice. Like
Yeah.
the creature is a lot of people's favorite.
Right.
It's a character that amazingly after, gosh, how long has it been? Like 60, 70 years
Yeah.
since he was created, is still very marketed. Like
Right.
you could go into, Target or Walmart today and find merchandise based on this character.
Sure.
And it's amazing that in all that time, they've never made another creature movie since the 50s.
Right.
But we'll save the movie talk for another day.
Yes.
Why don't you kind of walk us through these different versions of the creature that we have here?
Okay. Well, you lucky guy. I mean, you have the creature from the Black Lagoon. I mean, this is the figure that everybody's most familiar with. I love the creature from the Black Lagoon from 1954, but it's not my favorite, of course, because I was a little put off by the pointy head of the creature from the Black Lagoon. But here we go. My favorite. It's got the chains. Revenge of the Creature, where the head sculpt is, really faithful to the costume from Revenge of the Creature. I mean, it's more rounded, and this is beautiful. I mean, is this glow in the dark?
I think it's glow in the dark. It's definitely translucent. And at the beginning of this, I said that I had left the variant figures at home. Mm-hmm. But in this case, I did bring 4 versions of the creature because each one of them is so distinct looking. It's not like it's merely a repaint or anything. Each one of them is so different from the other that I figured they had to be seen. They're so beautiful.
And I don't know how people feel about the scale of the Super 7 figures. I don't know if folks would, were wishing that they were bigger. To me, this is perfect. And what's so impressive is that they're not very big, and yet the detail that Super 7 was able to give us on each figure. I mean, the creature's hands. I mean, just amazing. I mean, that's the first thing you really see in the first movie. When his hand is coming out of the the lagoon
in 3D, no less.
Yes, yeah. I mean, the fin. But yeah, this is beautiful. And the chains. I mean, this tells you right away for creature, Revenge of the Creature.
The next one that you're going to talk about, I just wanted to bring out this box also. I'll hand it to you because
Thank you.
I think that creature that you're about to look at, the third one, is definitely based on the old AHI.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was AHI or AHI, but those were figures in the 70s that capitalized on the success of Mego, right?
Right.
And they were in an 8-inch scale, but this creature is an homage to that.
Oh, absolutely.
And you could even tell because of the box. Super 7 made it look like an AHI box.
And you had the different variants that AHI did. This one, trying to stand it up a bit. This one here, and I know we need to be careful with this one here. This is the wide version. AHI did make a wide version, and they did the more traditional slender version of the creature. But this one is my favorite. I know the hands, the claws aren't as they're not as faithful to the actual creature, but it works. I love it. I just love everything about it. And yeah, this is amazing.
And then finally we have The Creature Walks Among Us.
Yeah, I was, it's an underrated movie. It's, it took some time for me to get used to this movie. I hated at first the way that, they transformed him from, the creature that we know and love to something that was more similar to a human being. And, like I said, it took some time, but still,
right.
Really, really beautiful sculpt here.
For those who haven't seen the movie, in The Creature Walks Among Us, they They kind of like file down his nails, they remove his gills, they put clothes on him. They do all these things to kind of make him more human. And you now have a figure of it.
Did I don't know. He always reminded me of one of our favorite characters, Tor Johnson.
Oh yeah,
that's what I was always thinking about. You know, when I saw when they removed the bandages, like, oh my gosh, it's Tor Johnson.
You know, I do have it. Of course, I have a Tor Johnson in this scale, but that's the subject of another video.
Okay.
So moving on, I want to take a quick look at these Phantom figures here.
Sure.
Now, there's at least 3 versions of the Phantom. The one you're holding, okay, just real quick history. There was a company before Super 7 that was making these figures, and it was, I believe they were called Reaction. Mm-hmm. At some point, I think I'm telling the history correctly, they got bought out by Super 7. So that was the Phantom that Reaction put out. I think it's actually a better sculpt than the one Super 7 gave us, which is right here. This one has the vinyl cape.
Yes.
That again, the vinyl cape recalls the old, what do you call it, Remco days.
Yeah.
This Phantom does not have a cape. He's also green for some reason. So I think that's the superior Phantom that you're holding.
And yeah, I mean, like I talked about the scale, how small these figures are, but I mean, wow. I mean, you're looking at Lon Chaney as the Phantom right here. I mean, the detail is just amazing. It really is. And I hope I'm not, you know.
It's a great looking figure. And Super 7, like I said, being very generous with the amount of characters they give us. Right. They even gave us the Phantom as the Mask of the Red Death here, which is very nice. He came with that cool staff. The Phantom does appear in the movie in one scene that way.
Yeah.
He dresses up in that costume so he can walk around undetected. And it's a very cool look.
This is just...
He looks like, Death himself.
I'm hoping everybody can see the detail of the skull on this walking stick or cane. I mean, just amazing.
We've got a lot to cover, so I'm gonna move over here to the mummy figures.
Yeah,
that's the Super 7 mummy, and then they gave us Ardath Bey too, which I thought was nice because
very nice.
I'm not sure that's ever been done before. That any company has made an Ardath Bey figure before, but Ardath Bey is the role that Boris Karloff plays in the movie, and he is like. I guess him and the mummy are like one and the same, right?
Right. And then that's the original Mummy movie. And like I said, we're not here for history, but that was, I think that was the only time that Karloff portrayed the mummy. After that, you had Tom Tyler and Lon Chaney Jr. Taking on the role of the mummy.
And there were two mummy characters in Universal. There was Imhotep, right?
Imhotep
was the first one, the Boris Karloff one. And there was Karis.
Yeah.
And Karis is, I wish we could get more Karis because he does have a different look. But I think, and I'm not 100% sure on this, but I think Universal restricts, like if you're going to do a mummy product, it can only be this.
Right.
So we've got the Invisible Man here, which is another great looking figure. I'm actually just gonna pass them to you as we talk about them. How about that?
And I want to make sure that everybody gets to see these. I get a little overexcited and I just want to just start playing with these things. But
he's a really cool looking figure. He, what can you say? It's like a James Whale movie. James Whale directed The Bride of Frankenstein, which is we're going to talk about in a second, which is probably the best Universal Monsters movie.
Right.
And he made the Invisible Man with Claude Rains as the Invisible Man. Here we've got the Wolfman.
Here.
And you could just, if we lay them down after we look at them, that's fine. But the Wolfman is one of my favorite Universal Monsters.
He's my second favorite after the creature.
He's my second favorite after Frankenstein. Played in 5 films by Lon Chaney Jr.
Right.
This one right here is the one you don't see that often. It's the, what do you even call these things? The Sand People from...
the Mole Man.
The Mole People.
The Mole People. They were
right.
Mole People. Yeah.
Now that's a that brings up an interesting question. Like there are certain characters that Universal markets all the time. Like they'll throw in the mole person, and they'll throw in the Metaluna Mutant from This Island Earth. And I don't even know, like personally, if I want those like 1950s sci-fi characters in the group. But
you have to include them.
But
I mean,
they're cool, and if Universal makes it.
Did you ever see the Mole Man?
I saw it once as a child, like long ago. I think the only thing I remember about it is that Hugh Beaumont, aka Ward Cleaver.
Fun fact: Ward Cleaver fights the mole people. Yeah.
We got Quasimodo here. Hunchback, which I thought, again, it was great that Super 7 gave us this character because he doesn't get made that often. And it's again, a great likeness of Lon Chaney Sr.
Right.
Because he was the Phantom and the Hunchback, and the Wolfman was Junior, Lon Chaney Jr.
I mean, the more I revisit these things, like I said, I keep harping on it about how amazing the detail is. Do you know who's responsible for sculpting these things at Super 7?
No idea. We got, moving over to this side here, we have Dracula.
Yeah, here we go to the big two. Oh, yeah.
There's Dracula. Not a lot to say about him except, he's Bela Lugosi, like one of the best horror actors of all time.
Now, does Super 7 have the official license for the likeness of Bela Lugosi?
That's a good question. It's definitely him on the box art.
Right.
On the and they always Super 7 does beautiful box art. But the sculpt on the figure always looks a little bit more generic.
Yeah.
But still, it's something I can totally live with. I think he looks good.
Because didn't the Lugosi estate take the rights away from Universal?
Well, they're very protective of the rights.
Yeah.
Bella Jr. is a lawyer, so.
Yeah.
We're going to look now, like our final batch of figures right here to look at is we'll call them the Frankenstein family. And I included these variants, these pink ones that you see on the corner here, the Frankenstein and his bride, just because they're cool looking. They're a special Valentine's Day set that Super 7 put out. Super 7 will do stuff like this from time to time for the holidays. And they even came in this really cute box. Can you see that?
Wow.
They came in this heart-shaped box. Frankenstein and the bride together in those Valentine's colors.
Yeah.
But next to that, we have them in standard colors. And it's a great likeness on the bride of Elsa Lancaster, who played the bride. And then we have Frankie himself, the big guy. And then we have these final two on the corner right here. This is Frankenstein from the Son of Frankenstein.
Right.
He's got you can tell because he's got the wool vest.
Right.
Like the shepherd's vest that his friend Ygor made for him. And then we've got Ygor.
That was a great intro to the guy who steals the show whenever he's included in these movies, Ygor.
We've got Ygor right here. Bela Lugosi, arguably his great role. It's the same actor who played Dracula. And, if you see him play Ygor, you might not even know that it was the same guy because he's that good of an actor.
Yeah.
But I love Ygor. He's so sinister. He appeared in a couple of Frankenstein movies. In the movie The Son of Frankenstein, Frankie wears this vest that Ygor made for him. And I've actually been quoting Ygor lately, because all of his lines were so funny in the movies.
Yeah.
You and I have quoted them before, but one that I've been saying lately is when he was talking about the monster and he said, he is first time in his life happy.
Yes.
That's been my saying during this holiday season.
And Bela Lugosi as Dracula, I mean, it's an iconic role. But as Ygor, he seemed to have a lot more fun. He seemed to really be able to flesh out that character. And I mean, that's, like I said, to me, he stole the scene every time he was on camera.
So after the jump, we're going to take a look at my boxed Super 7 monsters. That completes our look at the unboxed. Welcome back. In the last segment, we took a look at the unboxed Universal monsters. Now, these are my boxed figures from Super 7.
I'm torn, Vin. I'm torn. I mean, there's nothing like holding the actual figure, playing with it. But then, oh my gosh, when you see these things, they're so beautiful in their packaging. You just don't want to,
Well,
you don't want to disturb their tombs.
As we discuss them, let's hold them toward the camera. Okay, so you've got Frankenstein. I've got the Bride of Frankenstein, and these are, we're bringing out some of the variants now. Obviously, I've had these in boxes for years now, and because of the text, I mean, I guess one could assume that these are like the Japanese editions, if that's what you want to call it. But
is that what they are? Because I'm not familiar with.
They're
these.
actually here. We could set those down there, and I'll give you Dracula from that same series. And here's the Invisible Man.
Do they glow in the dark? They look like they. I mean,
they're translucent for sure. They look.
Right.
The colors just really pop on these. They're beautiful. But what these four were. They were San Diego Comic-Con exclusives.
Oh, okay.
A while back.
Wow.
I can't remember the year. If you know, let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
But they're exclusives from SD, CC, and they're just gorgeous, So that's why I've had them in boxes for years, because I'm really, like you said, I'm really torn. I don't know if I want to unbox these.
I don't. These, I'll tell you right here, I would not unbox them.
We've got the Mummy and the Wolfman.
Wow, talk about colors.
These are in some really funky colors. And I honestly don't remember what the Super 7's inspiration was for putting them in these colors. I want to say that it was based on some kind of old masks like Ben Cooper or something. But they chose to do these really weird colors.
Yeah.
And, that shows how much of a nerd I am and a sucker for Universal monsters. When I saw a Pink Wolfman, I'm like, I got to get me a Pink Wolfman. Look at that.
And again, I wouldn't unbox these. But what blows me away is how retro the back of this packaging is.
Oh, yeah.
The artwork, this is nice. This is really cool.
And it has the phrase "collect them all," which every decent toy company in the world uses that phrase now. But you and I know where that originated. Collect them all.
Collect them all.
Mego. It was Mego in the 70s. So we've got the two funky colored monsters that were part of the same series. Let's look at a character we didn't look at in the last batch, the Metaluna Mutant. This is
Island Earth.
Yeah, This Island Earth, a sci-fi movie that Universal made in the 50s. And like I told you before, this one definitely glows in the dark. Like I told you before, I don't know if I really want the 50s sci-fi monsters as part of my Universal canon, because to me, they really don't fit in with kind of like the other monsters were like gothic and supernatural.
Right. I mean,
and these were like the sci-fi 50s. But it's a beautiful figure. Just look.
And with that said, I mean, if you did do a separate collection, keep these separate from the more gothic figures, you would have to put the creature in with this group here with your sci-fi, because
that's true.
It was 1954. I mean, that's when.
That's true. This is a version of the Invisible Man that Super 7 just put out. We're recording this video at the beginning of 2025.
Oh, very nice.
I believe this came out around the holidays for 2024.
This is new?
It's new. And I bought it just because it looks so beautiful. I already have an Invisible Man, but this one is clear. And if you take a look at it, it's kind of a weird choice that they made, because his head and hands are clear. I get the hands part, but the head is, he clearly, if you look at the sculpt, he has his bandages on.
Yeah.
And yet his bandages are clear. So that's kind of weird, right?
Yeah,
right?
I see what you're saying. Yeah, it should have been, it would have been nice to have Claude Rains' likeness and clear. That would have been really nice. But yeah.
We're going to look at real quick. The Werewolf of London is a character that came late to Super 7. He was originally supposed to be part of one of the earlier waves that came out a few years ago. And then for some reason, production on him was held up. I don't know if it was a rights issue or what, but eventually the Werewolf of London did come out, I guess about a year ago. And I got the figure, and then I got the one you're holding in your hand, which is the glow-in-the-dark version.
Right.
And, you know, we talked in the earlier part of the video about how these figures are an homage to the early 80s Remco.
Right.
Take a look at the packaging here. This is what the old Remco packages used to look like, remember?
Exactly what it used to look like, right.
So we've got two versions of the Werewolf of London. And then for the last three boxed figures, I'll give you these. These are simply glow-in-the-dark variants that I thought had great colors. We've got the blue Frankenstein you're holding. We've got this gorgeous Revenge of the Creature who's in chains.
I mean, what kid, or I stand corrected, monster kid doesn't love glow-in-the-dark?
Glow-in-the-dark is...
I mean, hand in hand with monsters.
It's just a bonus when you can get glow-in-the-dark figures. Yeah. They're so cool. And then the last one in the glow-in-the-dark series, and the last one we'll look at today, is Dracula. And I think that, I mean, me personally, I think that's the best looking one of the glow-in-the-dark figures. I love
Absolutely.
I love his sculpt, his color scheme. If you notice, his medallion is... Let the audience see his medallion is gold. They did a beautiful job painting him.
Let me take one last look at the, my favorite here. Oh man, this is great.
So there we have it. You've seen all my or most of my unboxed Universal monsters, minus some variants. You've now seen all the one in boxes.
So let Ben know in the comments, should he unbox them or should he keep them as is?
Some of them, I can tell you right now, are going to escape the box and join the collection. Others will remain in the box because they're just too pretty to unbox. And I think the San Diego Comic-Con exclusives, those are the ones that are most likely to stay in the box.
Are they pretty hard to find these days, these exclusives? Or?
Oh yeah, real hard to find.
Yeah.
They'll cost you if you can find them. Anyway, I think that that is all we want to do for today.
Sure.
I really want to thank you for joining me and talking about Universal Monsters and
Thank
Super
you for
7.
Including me, man.
Super 7 is a company that I love to do business with. I even I've ordered so many things from him over the years: apparel, figures, even this Halloween bucket that we have right here, which I usually carry my figures around in it. So way to go, Super 7. Keep going with Universal Monsters, Super 7. And I can't remember if I emailed them about this before, but they really need to do Hammer next.
Wow.
We'd love to see some Hammer characters.
Definitely. Definitely.
I think that's all we have for you today on Popula. Thank you for joining us.